Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. We're outside the new liquor store, and it did open this weekend. So we'll have some sales information, some stories, and talk about this whole journey. Now, this is in Greeley, Colorado on 8th Avenue. Has an interesting neighbor. Talked about that before. But we are making progress. I don't know who wrote Cheese Club on my truck. That might be my kids. I don't know what the Cheese Club is. I do like cheese. But anyway, we have the sign on top. And some people have complained about how it looks, and it was the first time I had some of my guys who work for me paint a sign like that. So I just tell people it's supposed to look like a bear wrote it if they have any questions about how it looks. But we might redo that. There's a lot of different things that might get fixed and changed. It's an ongoing process. So, real quick backstory. This is the back room that's undergone a lot of work too, with shelving and moving stuff around and all of that. But I bought this liquor store in business in February. It's now April. I opened it, kept it open for a few weeks before I shut down by the police. I already had a liquor store in Pierce, Colorado, and according to Colorado law, I'm not allowed to have two, even though it's very confusing and their liquor guidebook pretty much says you can have three. So, talked to some lawyers, ended up selling it, kept the business, the real estate, sold the business. Now someone else runs the business, and able to do videos and show lots of in-depth stuff. Thanks to them. Now, having said that, they have done some things differently than I would have done. So I had lots of different plans, different things, and a lot of those have come through, but some things have changed as well. But we completely remodeled the inside, as you can see. It's still got some stuff going on, working on that today. New shelves, new paint, completely new layout, new lights are coming soon. A lot of work has been done. Now, I kind of wanted to put the wine and stuff over there in that area, and the new owner decided to put it kind of in the middle right there instead. So again, not a big deal, but you can see it's so much different than it was before. Before, it just had shelves and gondolas. That's the type of shelving you see there in the middle, all over the store, and moved everything to the sides, covered up those windows as well, and crazy enough, these shelves basically ended up fitting exactly how much liquor there was. Not many calculations were done, if any, on that factor. It was more a complete guess, maybe guesstimate in some ways, but just wanted to get enough shelves to cover up that space along the wall, and it turned out to be perfect. There is some extra wine in the baskets, but I think we have room to put that on the shelves. Not sure why. And we actually scored another basket. Someone left it outside my real estate office by our dumpsters, and it had no markings on it, no signs of where it came from, so that basket became property of the liquor store. Now, you might hear me say we or they or whatever. It's very common for a previous owner to help the new owner. In fact, the previous owner of this store, when they sold it to me, even though they didn't give me much in sales data, helped quite a bit. I still can contact them with questions, comments. So it's not like when you sell a business, you completely stop working it. A lot of times you will work the business for a while, help it with the transition, and a lot goes into that. So I don't know if you just saw that. We need more lights. Those are here, ready to be installed, just have not been installed yet. There's still quite a bit of inventory. So I know the vendors have been there and are going to restock this week. But overall, looking pretty good. And I know I had thought about making a beer cave room back here. These are huge coolers. Not sure if that will still happen or not. I think it'd be cool, but it is a little tricky to make it work because you've got to have access to the shelves behind still, to stock goods and put stuff there. So if you did have a beer cooler, kind of need to probably be walled off and have to still have room for the coolers. So you could make it work, but it would take some creativity. Now that thermostat was not correct. It's not like 10 degrees in here. That might freeze a lot of stuff, but it is pretty chilly in here. Probably in the 30s, nice and cool. A very cool beer. Something else that was done, all the old gondola shelves, as you can see, thought about selling them or storing them. They put them in here for storage, which means if they need them in the future, they're still here, and it also helps just organizing everything. And I think the plan is just to line all these walls with them. There might be a few left over, but that should make it much more organized back here. And then you still have those shelves if you ever want to use them for something else in the future, change configurations. add more inventory. Who knows? It gives you a lot of different options. Now, I mentioned the store opened. So on Friday, it had a really kind of soft opening where most of the liquor was off the floor. The POS system was hooked up. The old POS system, they are using Clover. It came here, but it's not all the way implemented yet. But the old POS system was hooked up. The credit card machine was not working yet. They had some issue with that. But someone came in and walked in and wanted to buy some beer, and it's actually, I think, a college student. And they bought 6 cases of Busch Light. So not a bad start. Then they ended up opening the drive-thru. Then the credit card processing machine worked like half an hour to an hour later, and they opened for a little bit on Friday. And then they're open all of Saturday, and then Sunday. Today is Monday. So, again, very soft opening, not like a grand opening or anything. No real marketing done. I don't even think the open signs ended up being turned on Friday, but they were on Saturday and Sunday. So, it's not a huge, massive amount of sales, but it is good to see something happening and sales coming in, because that means, they might be able to pay me rent at some point. No. So, this is the bad time when it was closed, shut down for the liquor license issue, and then also for some remodeling work as well. That little dip you see was the store was broken into back in February, but the police caught them in March, and people got tired of just seeing a real flat line, so we decided to put the money lost on that little line right there. Now, that was just inventory stolen. That doesn't count the $600 or $800 it cost to replace the glass in the door they broke. But since then, put up metal gates to help solve that, and that person's in jail. In fact, I recently got a victim's advocate sheet to talk about how much money was lost. So that's good to see too. But there you can see the sales. A whopping $663 on Sunday, $591 on Saturday, and like $494 or something, or was it $394 on Friday? So again, not very much, but just opened just to get things rolling. And having more on Sunday than Saturday is very rare. It's actually a good sign, because I think it means people are realizing, oh, it's open. And there's still people coming in who want something that isn't there. And that's something, there's so much space here and so much room here. This store should be able to carry pretty much everything somebody wants. And liquor itself does not go bad. It has, almost all liquor has an unlimited shelf life. There might be some like with milk products or something in it that have a shelf life. Beer has a limited shelf life. Wine can have a limited shelf life depending on the wine, but liquor usually does not. So if you have different types of liquor people want, you can stock it. And if people know it's there, they'll come back. You don't want people coming to your store and then having to go somewhere else to get something, because it's pretty likely they'll keep going to that other store instead of yours, because they think, oh, they've got it, the other store doesn't. So a lot of people say, oh, you need less inventory, you've got too much stuff. It's actually the opposite with liquor stores. You want a massive amount of inventory in liquor stores because it doesn't go bad for the most part, and you want to stock as much as you can for people. Now, looking at this chart, a lot of people might also think, oh, they're just losing massive amounts of money. You had $2,000 come in on some of the busy weekends at the start. You have to remember, that's not just profit. So this store was definitely not making money when I bought it. If you have $2,000 coming in on a day, you probably got a 75% cost of goods, maybe even lower depending on how well the store tracks things. It was not tracking things on a lot of prices, and costs were wrong. So that means on a $2,000 day, which was basically the best day you had before, you might bring in $500 before expenses, right? And if you've got staff working 11 hours a day, and even just one of them, that's like $220. Not one person the whole day, but one person working, or a couple of people working 2 different shifts. That's $220 right there. So then you're down to $280. Then you've got, utilities that have to be on for the coolers and different things. The cooler's still running, but like the lights can be turned off. A lot of the other stuff, you can save a little bit of money there. You're not cleaning. You're not doing a lot of different things you'd have to do with it open. So you're not losing as much money as you think you are when you're closed based on these sales figures. But obviously you don't want to be closed, and you want to be open, and you want to have, 3,000-4,000 days happen eventually where you're making good money. And maybe your margins are a little higher. Who knows? We'll have to see how all that works out. But in my other liquor store, we've been bringing in $3,000 a day on the weekdays and $4,000, even up to $5,000 a day on the weekends. That store also has kind of a little market next to it, some groceries, stuff like that. We could do some of that here. We did bring in some snacks, some different things. Want to bring in more, so we'll see about that. There's definitely room. Also working on bringing just other different products and different things into here. There's a lot of work to be done still, but it's good to see it open. It's good to see progress being made, and hopefully, customers keep coming in and realizing it's open and stopping by. The social media, I think on TikTok and YouTube and different places, I think has helped too and built some excitement around it, which is nice, or frustration because it's not open yet, but now it's open. So overall, it's been a challenge. It's been, tricky getting this up and going, and hopefully it all pays off in the end, but there's still a long way to go, a lot of work to do. There will be a grand opening at some point, but a lot more work, preparation, I think needs to be done before that happens. And, new signage, lights, layouts, more inventory. There's a lot that could be done to improve things still. So that's the update. That's what's going on right now. Thank you for your support and comments. I appreciate those. We'll have more updates on this store, on the other liquor store, of course, on the laundromats, rentals, flips. Just got another commercial rental property under contract, might be getting another flip under contract to buy. So I have a lot of things going on in my world besides just this, and we'll see how this all plays out. I would say too, the new owner does have an Instagram page, working on some other social media for it. So Instagram is just at Big Bear Liquors if you want to give them some support, and we'll be back.